Hello, love. Welcome back to the Unshakable Soul podcast. I'm your host here, Sophia Wood Massicotte, and we are on episode 81. And I have for us a juicy one that I think is going to be very supportive for a lot of women out there. And if men, you're listening in, that's also very cool. The topic that I'd like to offer today is breaking the cycle of the overfunctioning woman. This is a pattern I see in not only a lot of women that are in my space or in the spaces that I'm in, online and in person, but also that I realized in myself. So I want to offer us first an explanation of what is an overfunctioning woman. Then I'll go into why does it happen? Then I'll go to the layer deep. What is the underlying need with this overfunctioning coping mechanism? And then I'm going to offer us very actionable steps that we can take to start breaking the cycle. And I'll finish by offering us also an invitation to deepen and to join me in my upcoming free masterclass, Her Awakening. That's March 21st. So depending on when you're listening to this, which marks 6 right now, maybe you'll be able to come. It'll be available after the 21st though, so it's all good. All right. Whew. So let's get right into it. Overfunctioning. What is it? Basically, overfunctioning, and I'm going to specify here, in modern women in the first world country, it refers to a pattern, a behavioral pattern of taking on excessive responsibility, managing or doing things for others, and oftentimes at their own expense. So maybe you're already relating to this sentence. I know I am. I'm like, oh, yes. And again, this conversation is not about shaming yourself. It's about identifying where you're at. And if this doesn't resonate with you, deep bow of reverence, like you can stop this right now. But if this does, then let's continue. Now, this behavior is rooted in a combination of social conditionings, psychological coping mechanisms, and really the pressure of modern day demands. And many overfunctioning women appear on the outside to be handling everything. Like it's the typical woman that has the leash for the dog and the baby and the carrier and is on the phone. And they do it in a very graceful way. And they seem to have everything perfectly on the outside. You see, they're working, they're managing, they're smiling. But actually, on the inside, they're on the verge of breaking. Due to this unseen burden, and I like to call it also the silent suffering of women. Okay? Now, let's go into why this is happening. And if at any point this conversation gets too much, honor that. Your body, my words can be speaking to a part of you that knows truth, and it is normal to be triggered. So if you want to pause this and come back to it later and have a moment to whatever, shake, cry, go outside for a walk, deep bow for that as well. Okay, we're all in our journey here. So why does this overfunctioning behavior come up, particularly in women? It's multifold. We can prod this in multiple directions, but generally it comes from societal, relational, and gender conditioning. Number 1, socialized caregivers, right? So from a young age, many women are conditioned to be caretakers, helpers, and people pleasers. And this inevitably leads to a belief that their value lies in being needed. That in itself can shed the light of awareness that you need to move forward. Remember, awareness is number one. Healing begins there, but transformation lies in choosing differently. It's in your action. Okay? So socialize caregiving. Number two, the good girl, the good mother. This is a huge one I see. The ideal. So women often feel pressured to excel in traditional, I know this is changing, but traditional domestic roles, while also succeeding in professional life. So leading this, let's say, double burden. And I don't like the word burden, but I've heard it before from women. So let's just put it in there. There's this pressure because now, again, first world modern day societal women can have it all. They're like, oh my gosh, I can make money. I can have babies. Ba 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 ba. And I want to excel at everything because that's my conditioned wiring. So this, as you can imagine, puts a lot of pressure on a woman. The ideal career woman, the good mother, the good wife. So feel for you if that's resonating with you. Where have you set your standards for yourself extraordinarily high? Number three, generational patterns. This is a classic one. Women often repeat behaviors they saw of their own mothers, that their mothers adopted. And this carries on basically the load to maintain the household harmony, for the example of the classic home, the woman that stays mostly at home. But not even that. Even if you're a career woman and you also have a career and you choose to have both, family and career, there's that underlying pressure of keeping the household in harmony. And what I'll get to later in the other section, it's at the detriment of what? Your authenticity, your truth, your own needs, your desires. So everything I'm stating right now, you'll start noticing a common pattern. All my energy is out there. We'll get to that in a moment. Number 4 here, we're still on why this overfunctioning pattern comes about. There's a lot of them, but I'll offer 3 more. We want to manage uncertainty for a lot of the times. Overfunctioning, it acts like a tool to manage anxiety that you cannot cope with in your body. And it allows women to feel in control, particularly when they feel life or their relationships is chaotic. So there's an aversion to the messiness of life. And also to the messiness of your own emotions, of your own cyclical being and multidimensional nature as a woman. There's a disconnection from your body here. There's a disconnection from your own sensitivity, and we override it. We try and control it. We don't understand it with the mind, and we don't want to feel it for sure. So we take care of everything else instead of actually tuning into what's going on within here. The truth is, life is fucking uncertain, ladies. That's the only certainty. Life is uncertain. And we can learn to ride that. The mystery of the unfolding. There's a process to get to this openness and trust with life, with your own body, with the people in your life. And I'll offer that in the section for actionable actions. Oh, this is so juicy. Okay. Another pattern of why we overfunction as women. This allows us to not fail, or it tries to prevent failure, because maybe in your family, failure was seen as bad. Failure was seen as you're rejected. You're the shame person in the family. So overfunctioners often fear that if they do step back, that tasks won't get done. time, or they just will be wrong. They won't be well done. Now, this results in you, overfunctioning person, handling all the heavy lifting to ensure nothing breaks or the smooth operations of things. Again, you could see this life and work. Okay, in both situations. You can see this as becoming a cause of burnout, of feeling your life is a burden because you're choosing to take on everything or a lot of things. Because again, this relates to a lack of trust. Okay. Now, I want to bring in the relational dynamic that can come about with overfunctioners. The helper dynamic. And overfunctioning is all about everything is out there. All my energy is being placed out there. God forbid I want to feel my own feels, because then I'll be faced with the truth that I've been self-abandoning myself. So in relationships, an overfunctioning woman often pairs with an underfunctioning partner. And this creates a self-perpetuating cycle where the more she does, the less he does. And this can breed resentment, frustration, blah, 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 blah. And the truth is, a lot of men want to help. They want to provide. It's wired in them. But if we're doing everything as women, we don't give space for our beautiful men to step into their leadership place. And it's not to say the woman cannot lead. I'm all about feminine embodied leadership. But feminine embodied leadership is leading from a place of trust, a place of somatic presence and grounding. She's able to ask for help. She welcomes it. There's a very subtle difference. The woman that leads from trust and body connection and innate self-worth, sure, she can take action when she feels called to, but she also knows how to rest and enjoy life. Ooh, there's a subtle difference there. And the action she does take, it doesn't feel like, ugh, I need to do this. It's like, this is so aligned with me. And I get to do this. I get to be of service in this way, whatever way that is. Okay. And the last piece I want to share of why this overfunctioning pattern can come about is simply the familiarity of it. Many women have been counselors and caretakers in their families for origins. Since the dawn of day, for many generations. And they feel very comfortable in this role. They feel comfortable in the role of being the responsible, strong one. But here is the hidden truth that all this behavioral pattern is hiding. A deep desire for authentic connection. A deep desire to be seen and met in her fullness, in her sensitivity, in her rawness, in her aliveness, in her authentic expression, whatever that looks like for her. To feel supported. And the key here is the visibility piece. A woman that is overfunctioning is trying to become visible. She's trying to become visible in all the ways I shared just now. Through her productivity and how much she does for others, how much she does at work, how giving she is. And the worst in society here anyways, in the Northern Hemisphere modern world, it's applauded. Oh my gosh, look at her. But the silent suffering is real. And it's going to eat your soul. It's going to eat your body. It's going to eat your mind. It's going to eat all your relationships if you don't break it. So the overfunctioning woman is wanting visibility to gain recognition, to gain validation, and a sense of worth that perhaps they don't feel at home. And when I mean at home, it could be in your physical house, but also in your own body, your own sense of self. Do you feel worthy of receiving support, of receiving pleasure, abundance, beauty, joy, money, whatever? A beautiful reciprocal relationship dynamic. Okay? And this need for validation and a woman's inability to actually realize her innate worth is inextricably linked to being indispensable and trying to make herself indispensable, which leads to her difficulty setting boundaries. Let's take a moment here. Take a deep breath in. Pause whatever you're doing. If you're driving, please don't pause. Keep your eyes on the road. But if you're doing any other activity while listening to this, just take a moment to place a hand on your heart, hand on your womb. Just feel into the words I just shared. Again, we're feeling and trying to reconnect with our body. Our body holds so much wisdom, so much pain as well. It holds so much. And this is the first step in liberating ourselves and breaking free from this cycle. This constant doingness, this constant need to prove myself through how much I do. Can I just have this moment with myself and be? Okay. So here are the consequences of overfunctioning, and maybe you already know them very well. Okay, so I mentioned this in terms of relational dynamics. This is a big one. The overfunctioner will attract the underfunctioner. So you're overfunctioning. If you're a woman listening to this and you're identifying with this, you being an overfunctioner often enable others to underfunction, which enables free riders just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna sit back, relax, enjoy the show, creating a codependent dynamic and an unbalanced system that breeds, second point, resentment. If nothing's been communicating, if no boundaries has been set, if nothing's been delegated. The overfunctioner may feel underappreciated and develop this resentment towards your partner, your colleagues, whatever, who have become very accustomed to having their tasks done for them. Their kids, this is a really classic example. This also leads to burnout and health issues. This pattern is not sustainable for your nervous system, your body, your mind, stressed and anxious. It leads to emotional volatility, mental overwhelm, and physical depletion. It leads to insomnia and a weakened immune system. Because my energy is all out there. There's no energy to replenish my system. and I don't sleep properly. So my system is compromised, which gives way to a lot of different pathogens and viruses to come in and weak system. Okay. This pattern also creates a guilt cycle. Okay, so let's say you're overfunctioning, then you're emotionally volatile, and you're irritable. So this lash out, you get triggered, then you feel guilty. And then you return to people pleasing because you feel guilty. The last one I want to mention here is one that maybe is overlooked. You stifle, as an overfunctioner, you stifle the growth of others. This is particularly prevalent for mothers that are overfunctioners and their children. But it could also be your colleagues, or if you're a boss at work, your employees. So partners or children of overfunctioners or employees or peers may become underdeveloped because they're not allowed to be responsible for themselves. So you're actually doing them a disservice by trying to help so much. So example, you're a mother that always cleans up after your kids, or you always do the laundry for them. They never do their dishes, they never do their laundry. But then child at one point goes out into the world and now has a partner. And look at that, they attracted a partner that does the same for them. So that person, and I'm using the male figure for this example, but it doesn't only need to be that, is going to associate women doing everything, and then we're just perpetuating the cycle that women have been in forever. No, everybody's taking responsibility for the shit right now. Okay? All right. Let's break the cycle. I want to give you 5 key actionable items that you can choose to implement if you want to, or just pick one that resonates and try that out. Okay. Number 1, building awareness and curiosity. I like to say it's compassionate curiosity. It's not curiosity like, ooh, oh my gosh, this is happening. I can't believe I did this, and go into like a shame and guilt loop cycle. No, this is compassionate curiosity. Okay, this is a pattern that's been probably for your lineage going on, and you're a cycle breaker right now, if you choose to. So a lot of compassion and gentleness here. Recognize the urge to take over. And ask if it's necessary or if it's driven by anxiety. So simple practice, the power pause. I've mentioned this a couple times. It's the greatest spiritual practice. Anyone that's looked to transforming themselves, this is the practice. There are other practices, but this one is you're interrupting a pattern by simple power pause. Hands on the body, feet on the ground, 1 deep breath. It could be so simple. Notice, build awareness, and ask with curiosity, is this necessary? What is the drive to overfunction right now? To take over? To do? Number 2, setting firm boundaries. Declining the sacred no, declining a task that's not actually your responsibility, and communicating your limits clearly. Now, this is a process I take women on in my upcoming course, Rhythms of Remembrance. It's an 8-week course, and it's not a one and done thing. There's a process to get to that, to feel safe enough in your body and cultivate that I am enough and I am activating my voice and my truth right now to be able to set boundaries. But here I want to offer you practices, because maybe for you it is easier. Oh, sacred no, okay. But for some, just that even thought of saying no causes their body to shake. Okay, so again, we're honoring where we are at and the depths of the weeds of the overfunctioning pattern within us, okay? So number 3 is practice underfunctioning. Allow others to take responsibility for their own lives. Allow others to support you. Right? And this also includes, allowing others to make their own mistakes and deal with the consequences. It fosters their own personal power and their independence and their ability to navigate life, especially if this is a mother-child connection. Because it is a jungle out there. It doesn't mean you're going to leave your kid in the freezing cold and they're going to die. No, you still have discernment here, and you could, discern if this is a life or death situation or if this is a opportunity for them to build their own resilience and have their own experience of life. I had many experiences of that. Relationships, money stuff. Yeah. And this is not easy work. But the more we allow ourselves to play on that edge, that growth edge, on that threshold, the more you're going to trust yourself, the more you're going to trust life, the more you're going to trust others, the more you're going to create an environment that's actually seeped in truth, because you're coming from a place of wholeness, of innate worthiness. You're like, wait a second, I'm also here to receive. Damn. Yes. Thank you, support. Thank you, taking out the garbage. Thank you, preparing the dinner. It doesn't mean you're going to just stay there on the couch and do everything all day just in the couch. Maybe there's a day that you do want to stay in the couch, or that you're not going to do anything. And that's cool. And there's a way to communicate that. And what's cool with the women I've worked with is when they start setting their boundaries and communicating in a clear and loving way their needs, they're met with okay, of course I will take out the trash. I'm giving examples here, and take the kids to work or to school, and just whoa. So they just simply had to voice their needs and give themselves what they need. And again, there's a process to take you through that, especially if this feels really crunchy to you. All right. Another aspect of breaking this cycle is to slowly loosen the grip of control. There's a big control tendency for overfunctioning people, and to stop nagging. So letting go of the need for perfection and trusting that others can handle their own tasks. So this is really seeing where your bar is set like this, because perhaps the bar was set like this for you when you were young, and that you were shamed and rejected when you weren't up here. But nobody fucking likes a nagging person. It doesn't breed a warm environment in the household or in the work environment. Okay, so see where you're at with your own level of, it's not tolerance, it's what is good enough? Really, that becomes the question. Because a lot of the underlying belief is, I'm not good enough for overfunctioning women. I am not good enough. Therefore, you're not good enough. We're stopping that right now. And everything I'm sharing right now is a practice on self. You practice in front of the mirror. You practice by being with yourself, connecting with your body, feeling your feelings, practicing your sacred no in the mirror. And again, this is a process. It takes devotion, practice, consistency, and a willingness to meet yourself on that threshold. Number 5 is this shift of focusing on your needs first, rather than immediately trying to solve everybody else's problem, believing that they need to be fixed and that you are the person to solve the problems. Like, what the fuck? This drains your feminine power. And what is your feminine power? Your energy, your connection to your body. Simple. Simple, simple. So yes, this whole process of breaking the cycle of overfunctioning behavior will cause discomfort as you slowly start to learn how to let things go, set your boundaries, let people make their mistakes, connect more to your body, noticing what it needs, what it's signaling to you. But by focusing on your needs and your inner landscape and experience here, you are actually fostering a healthier, a warmer environment in your house, in your work environment, and wherever you go. You become a healing force just by your presence, because you radiate wholeness. You don't need validation from your kids, from your partner, from your boss, from your neighbors. You just are. You exist. You're innately worthy because you exist. And if you don't believe that now, then that is the practice. To remind yourself every day, I deserve to be here, to be met with love, with connection, with truth. My body deserves to feel good and alive. And that's not something you're going to start asking from other people to give you that aliveness, to give you that joy and connection. You foster it from you. And watch the outer world reorganize itself to your new frequency. Okay. So women out there, you're not lacking discipline or knowledge. Maybe you already know some of this. What you need is the embodiment piece. It's the deep connection to your truth that is accessible through your presence to your body, to its own rhythms, to its cycles. Your connection to your emotions, the allowing yourself to feel everything that's perhaps been suppressed and to channel that into creative expression, authentic expression, allowing that to open up your heart to connecting in a different way that you've been used to, perhaps. Maybe you're used to connecting and clinging on fear, afraid of losing any sort of connection or love. But wouldn't it be more easeful if it was a natural connection from a place of already feeling whole and worthy just as you are? So here's the invitation. This is the journey I'll be guiding you on, if you're watching this before March 21st, inside Her Awakening. This is a special spring equinox webinar and masterclass where I'll take you through the feminine spiral of remembrance, which is a unique framework of feminine embodied leadership. Really how you show up and lead your own life, and what you create in your life. It's coming from the inside out, from a deep remembrance of the feminine path, which is spiral and cyclical. She spirals inwards and descends into her body, and she emerges out whole, more aligned with her truth, to express her unique gifts. It follows the phases of the moon. It's deeply connected with your body and with your own gnosis. Okay, so this masterclass will take you through the wisdom teachings, but also a simple embodiment practice to get you tuning into your own innate intelligence and what your body is actually speaking to you and what it's asking of you and what it needs. And then you take action. And if you want to go deeper, then Rhythms of Remembrance is my group container. It's 8 weeks. I've pushed back the start date a little bit. It will be in April. And it will take you through the spring portal, which is bringing you out of the heavy, dense energy of winter or any emotional, volatile experience that you may have had, or just a period of your life that you're going through, a threshold moment. We're all going through a death and rebirth, whether we realize it or not. We're collectively in this. It's going to bring you into a place of sovereignty, of clarity. It's going to bring you back into your power, into your body, so that your actions and how you choose to show up in your work and your family is actually from a place of deep alignment and truth. And from that place, you get to create your own reality that, again, not only benefits you and creates more ease in your body and brings about more joy and aliveness, but also it ripples out into your family, your community. Okay? So if you're interested, everything is going to be in the description, the links. You can also message me directly. I'll have my email there as well. If this resonates with you, I'll invite you in it. Any of these containers. Let's finish with a prayer to ground this. So again, if you're driving, please keep your eyes on the road. If you're at your home, you can place your hands over your body, feet on the ground, closing your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling out. May we remember that we were never meant to carry the weight of the world alone. May we soften the places within us that have been striving for too long. May we listen again to the quiet wisdom of our bodies. And may each step we take toward ourselves be a step toward deeper truth, wholeness, and remembering. And so it shall be. Thank you for being here.